So a World Health Organization team has been in South Africa to help with preclinical and clinical trials for COVID-19 treatment. South Africa is one of a few African countries involved in proving the efficacy of traditional medicine on the virus. Let's bring in the traditional expert, medicine expert. That's Professor Motlalepula Matsabisa, who joins us via our video link this morning. Prof, it's great to have you with us on the program on what is an incredibly important story. In fact, it's the University of the Free State that started these clinical trials to test the use of traditional medicines insofar as the treatment of COVID-19 is concerned. Can you tell us today what's been found so far?
Yeah, thank you so much, and good morning to your team and also to the listeners. Indeed, it is true that the World Health Organization, together with the partners, which is Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also the European Developing Countries Clinical Trials Partnership, as well as the African Union Commission. You recall that they established this expert committee to advise countries, on the conduct, of clinical trial. So far, I think, the team has been to a number of countries reviewing the progress of those countries. That included visiting Madagascar, I think for obvious reasons, because of, I think, their COVID organics. And then visiting Uganda, they went to Democratic Republic of the Congo, and then Uganda, Nigeria, and Ghana. And they then were in South Africa for the last 12 days to review the progress, that South Africa has made in terms of, I think, traditional medicines therapeutics, for COVID-19. And you are correct again to say, this study, a clinical trial, which is a multi-center clinical trial, conducted by, I think, FCRN in Vereeniging, also Trident in Kimberley, and also ProHealth in the Eastern Cape, where then, I think, involved in the testing of this traditional medicine. And where we have been so far, we have shown in terms of preclinical work that, in fact, the traditional product, we call it PELA,
yes,
does in fact inhibit the growth of the SARS-CoV virus, as well as the growth of, I think, the MERS-CoV virus. And this was very good for us. And we then, I think, went further to look at the effect of this product on the variants of concern. And these included, I think, the variants in the Wuhan, the South African variants, and we found very good, I think, activity of the product.
Yeah.
So where we are now, we are waiting for the first, I think, 10-day results to review those and see, whether indeed now we can conclusively say, in, I think, patients, that this product does give them benefit.
So, Prof, just doing some reading on exactly what this traditional medicine, PELA, is able to do insofar as the treatment of COVID-19 is concerned. At the peak of the pandemic, we came to know this term known as the cytokine storm due to COVID-19, right? So PELA, as far as the information that I have here in front of me, restores and normalizes the patient's immune system. I mean, this is huge, isn't it, Prof?
Yes, indeed. We repurposed PELA from, I think, its HIV work, where we have seen that it does have, retroviral activity. But more importantly was the work that was done where we were looking at the knocked down immune system. By that we mean where, we tested PELA on the systems where the immune system was totally knocked down. And PELA reconstituted, and I'm using the word deliberately, not boosting, but it reconstituted the immune system to normal. And above normal, then PELA has no effect on the immune system. It was based on those, I think, results where we used, I think, cyclosporine. We know cyclosporine is used to dampen immune system in heart transplants. We used dexamethasone, and I think we also used another drug. So we were then convinced also from those results that PELA could have a very good, I think, effect on the cytokine storm. If you all recall that, the viral effect on the COVID is a very short-term effect. It lasts for about, 3 to 5 days. After that, once you have the symptoms, in fact, the body has dealt with your virus. What kills actually the immune system. So Pela was then a very good candidate, one to work both on the virus at the very early stage. So that means if we catch up these patients early, it could then, I think, have an effect on the virus. And this has been shown by our preclinical work. And also now Pela could then also normalize your immune system. That means if you have now this rogue cytokine storm, Pela will normalize that. And that's the mechanism through which, the traditional medicine works.
Incredible stuff. Prof, what does this mean for the countries who are part of this clinical trial? I suppose economically, what does it mean for boosting trust in traditional medicines going forward? There's sort of a multi-pronged way that we can look at how this might benefit countries like South Africa going forward.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I think, I mentioned the number of countries that we visited. It was only 2 countries in the rest of Africa that were conducting, I think, the multi-center clinical trials. It was South Africa and also Tanzania. So we have not been to Tanzania, so I can't see what is happening. Therefore, the only country so far has been South Africa. What this means is WHO and its partners aim then to endorse, any product, that has been shown to be effective, on COVID-19, the traditional medicine-based product. And this is going to happen, I think, in the next 2 weeks in Brazzaville, where we'll be then identifying those products. And then those products then will be, I think, are recommended for fast track in terms of, both clinical trials and also the manufacturing. And we'll then hope that we can then get those products registered as quickly as possible so that then I think, alternative interventions in terms of phytopharmaceuticals could be put onto the market. What does this mean? It means, I think, we are then going to see, I think, a local manufacturing, I think, industry cropping up, for the manufacturing of, I think, these products, as well as, I think, the complete value chain, because then we need to grow this. We can use to grow the plants that will then supply the raw materials. So we see a boost in the economy in terms of, I think, the pharmaceuticals, the agricultural, as well as the logistics, and the transportation. So we see, I think, an increased awareness and popularity and also the recognition that traditional medicines could play, I think, in COVID-19 and also other diseases.
Certainly, and an increase in trust as well. Professor Motlalepula Matsabisa, Chairperson of a WHO Regional Expert Advisory Committee on Traditional Medicines for COVID-19. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.